Hello YouTubers, it's Natalie back again and I'm on chapter 4. If my daughter screams, you're just going to have to bear with it, as there's no way I can edit this because I don't have the software on my computer. Okay. Holly started her Friday morning well by getting up early. However, although she had gone to bed full of optimism and excited about the prospects that lay ahead of her, she was struck afresh by the harsh reality of how different every moment would be. Once again she woke in an empty bed to a silent house, but there was one small breakthrough. For the first time in over a month she had woken up without the aid of a telephone call. She adjusted her mind as Gabriella, please. She adjusted her mind as she did every morning to the fact that the dreams of her and Jerry being together, which had lived in her mind for the past 10 years, were just that, dreams. She showered and dressed comfortably in her favourite blue jeans trainers and a baby pink t-shirt. Sharon had been right about her weight. Her once tight jeans were just staying up by the aid of the belt. She made a face at her reflection in the mirror. She looked ugly. She had black circles under her eyes, her lips were chapped and chewed, and her hair was a disaster. First thing to do was to go down to a local hairdresser's and pray they could squeeze her in. Jesus, Holly, her stylist Leo exclaimed. Would you look at the state of you? People make way. Make way, I have a woman here in critical condition. He winked at her and proceeded to push past his path. He pulled out the chair for her and pushed her into it. Thanks, Leo, I feel really attractive now, Holly muttered, trying to hide her beetroot-coloured face. Well, don't, 'cause you're in bits. Sandra, mix me up the usual. Colin, get a foils. Tanya, give me my little bag of tricks from upstairs. Oh, and Will, not to bother getting his lunch. He's doing my 12 o'clock. Leo ordered everyone around, his hands flapping wildly as though he was about to perform emergency surgery. Perhaps he was. Oh, sorry, Leo, I didn't mean to mess up your day. Of course you did, love. Why else would you come rushing here at lunchtime on a Friday without an appointment? To help world peace? Holly gullibly bit her lip. Ah, but I wouldn't do it for anyone else but you, love. Thanks. How have you been? He rested his skinny little behind on the counter, facing Holly. Leo must have been 50 years old, yet he didn't look a day over 30. His honey-coloured hair matching his honey-coloured skin. He always dressed so perfectly. He was enough to make any woman feel like crap. Terrible. Yeah, you look it. Thanks. Well, at least by the time you walk out of here, you'll have one thing sorted. I do hair, not hearts. Holly smiled gratefully at his odd little way of showing he understood. But Jesus, Holly, why were you coming in the door? Did you see the word magician or hairdresser on the front of the salon? You should have seen the state of the woman who came in here today, muttered Mutton, dressed as a lamb, not far off 60, I'd say, handed me a magazine with Jennifer Aniston on the cover. I want to look like this, she says. Holly laughed at his impression. He had the facial expression and the hand movements all going on at the same time. Jesus, I say, I'm a hairdresser, not a plastic surgeon. The only way you'll look like that if you cut that out of the picture and staple it to your head. No, Leo, you didn't tell her that. Holly's jaws dropped in surprise. Of course I did. The woman needed to be told, sure. Wasn't I helping her? Swanning in here, dressed like a teenager, the state of her. But what did she say? Holly wiped the tears of laughter from her face. She hadn't laughed like this for months. I flicked the pages of the mag for her and came across a lovely pic of Joan Collins. Told her it was right up her street. She seemed happy enough with it. Leo, she was probably too terrified to tell you she hated it. Ah, who cares? I have enough friends. Don't know why, Holly laughed. Don't move, Leo ordered. Suddenly he had become awfully serious and his lip was pierced together in concentration as he separated Holly's hair, ready for colouring. That was enough to send Holly into stitches again. "Ah, come on, Holly," Leo said in exasperation. "I can't help it, Leo. You got me started, and now I can't stop." Leo paused in what he was doing and watched her with amusement. "I always thought you were for the madhouse. No one ever listens to me." She laughed even harder. "Oh, I'm sorry, Leo. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't just stop." Holly's stomach ached from laughing so hard. She was aware of all the curious glances she was attracting, but she couldn't help it. It was as if they all missed mirth from the past couple of months were tumbling out at once. Leo propped himself back on the counter and watched her. "You don't need to apologize, Holly. Laugh all you like. You know they say it's good for the heart." "Oh, I haven't laughed like this for ages," she chortled. "Well, you haven't had much to laugh about, I suppose," he said sadly. Leo had loved Jerry too. They teased each other whenever they met, but they both knew it was all in fun. Leo snapped himself out of his thoughts, tousled Holly's hair playfully, and planted a kiss on the top of her head. "But you'll be all right, Holly Kennedy," he assured her. "Thanks, Leo," she said, calming herself down. Touched by his concern, he went back to work on her hair, putting on his funny little concentrating face, which started Holly off again. "Oh, you laugh now, Holly, but wait until I accidentally give you a stripy head of colour. We'll see who's laughing then." "How's Joe?" Holly asked, keen to change the subject before she embarrassed herself again. "He dumped me," Leo said, pushing aggressively with his foot on the chair pump, sending Holly higher into the air and causing her to jerk wildly in her chair. "Ooh, Leo, I'm so sure you two were so great together." "Yeah, well, we're not great together now, Missy. I think he's seeing someone else. Right. Going to put 2 shades of blonde in, a golden and the blonde you had before. Otherwise it'll go that brassy colour that reserved for my prostitute clientele only." "Oh, Leo, I'm sorry. If he had any sense at all, he'll realise what he's missing." "He hadn't any sense, so we split up 2 months ago, and he hasn't realised it yet, or else he has, and he's delighted. I'm fed up. I've had enough of men. I'm not just going to turn straight. Now that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard." Holly bounced out of the salon with delight. Without Jerry beside her, a few men looked her way. Something was alien to her and made her feel uncomfortable. So she ran to the safety of her car and prepared herself for her parents' house. So far, today was going well. It'd been a good move to visit Leah. Even in the heartbreak, he worked hard to make her laugh. "Gabriella!" Holly took note of it. She pulled up on the curb outside her parents' house in Portmark and took a deep breath. To her mother's surprise, Holly had called her first thing in the morning to arrange to meet up. It was 3:30 now, and Holly sat outside in the car with butterflies in her tummy. Apart from the visits her parents had paid to her over the past month, Holly had barely spent any proper time with her family. She didn't want all the attention directed at her. The intrusive questions about how she was feeling and what she was going to do next being fired at her all day. However, it was time to put that fear aside. There were her family. Her parents' house was situated directly across the road from Portmark Beach, the blue flag bar in testament to the cleanliness. She parked the car and stared across the road to the sea. She had lived here from the day she was born till the day she moved out to live with Jerry. She had loved waking up to the sound of the sea lapping across the rocks and the excited call of the seagulls. It was wonderfully having the beach as your front garden, especially during the summer. Sharon had lived around the corner, and on the hottest day of the year the girls would venture across the road in their summer best and keep an eye out for the best looking boys. Holly and Sharon were the complete opposite of each other. Sharon with her brown hair, fair skin and huge bosom, and Holly with blonde hair, shallow skin and small chest. Sharon would be loud, shouting at the boys, calling them over. Holly would just stay quiet and flirt with her eyes, fixing them on her favourite boy and not moving them till he noticed. Holly and Sharon really hadn't changed all that much since. She didn't intend staying longer, she just had a little chat and collect the envelope. She was determined to end her silent self-torture about what could be inside. She took a deep breath, rung the doorbell and placed a smile on her face for all to see. "Hi, love, come in," said her mother, with her usual welcoming, lovely face that Holly just wanted to kiss every time she saw her. "Hi, Mum, how are you?" Holly stepped into the house and was confronted by the familiar smell of home. "You on your own?" "Yes, your father's out with Declan buying paint for his room." "Don't tell me you and Dad are still paying for everything for him." "Well, your father might be, but I'm certainly not. He's working at nights now, so at least it's a bit of pocket money these days, although we don't see a penny of it being spent on anything for here." She chuckled and brought Holly to the kitchen, where she put the kettle on. Declan was Holly's youngest brother and the baby of the family, so her mum and dad still felt they had to spoil him, but their baby was now a 22-year-old studying film production at college and constantly had a video camera in his hands. "What job's he got now?" Her mother rolled her eyes to heaven. "He joins some band, the Orgasmic Fish, I think they called themselves, or something like that. I'm sick to death of hearing about it, Holly. If he goes on one more time about it, who's there at the gigs promising to sign them up? I'll go mad." "Ah, poor Deco, don't worry, he'll find something eventually. I know it's funny because of all you darling children, he's the least I worry about. He'll find his way." They brought their mugs into the sitting room and settled down in front of the television. "You look great, Pet. I love the hair. Do you think Leo would ever do mine for me, or am I getting too old for these style?" "Well, as long as you don't want Jennifer Aniston's style, you have no problem," Holly explained about the woman in the salon, and they both rolled around laughing. "I don't want the Joan Collins look, so I'll just stay clear of him." "That might be wise. Any luck with the job yet?" Her mother's voice was casual, but Holly knew she was dying to find out. "No, not yet, Mum. To be honest, I haven't even started looking. I don't know quite what I want to do." "You're right," her mother added, "taking your time and think about what you would like, or else you'll end up rushing into a job you hate, like the last time." Holly was surprised to hear this. In fact, surprising her these days. Perhaps it was herself with the problem and not the rest of the world after all. The last job Holly had was working for a secretary and an unforgiving little slimeball in the solicitor's office. She had been forced to leave her job when the creep failed to understand that she needed time off work to be with her dying husband. Now she had to go looking for a new one, for a new job that was. But at the moment it seemed unimaginable to go to work in the morning. Holly and her mother sat in a relaxed atmosphere, falling in and out of conversation for a few hours until Holly finally built up the courage to ask for the envelope. "Oh, of course, love, I completely forgot about it. I hope it's not nothing important. It's been here for a long time." "I'll find out soon enough." They said their goodbyes and Holly couldn't help get out of the house quick enough. Perching herself on the grass overlooking the golden sand, Holly ran the envelope over her hands. Her mother hadn't described it very well, for it was not an envelope but a thick brown package. The address had been typed in a plain sticker so she couldn't even guess the origin. But most importantly, above the address were two words, thick and bold: "The List." Her stomach did a little dance. If it wasn't from Jerry, for Holly had to accept the fact that it had gone completely from her life. She had to start thinking about existing without him. But if it was from him, though she couldn't be faced with the same future, at least she could hold on to some fresh memory, a memory that would give her a lifetime. Her tremulous fingers gently tore at the seal of the package. She turned it upside down and shook the contents out. Out fell 10 separate tiny envelopes of all kind you would expect to find on a bouquet of flowers, each with a different month written on them. Her heart missed a few beats as she saw the familiar handwriting on a loose page underneath the pile of envelopes. It was from Jerry. Okay, so that is chapter 4, and we're now on to chapter 5. I'm sorry for the interruptions from my daughter, but that's what you get when you have a daughter and she's as young as mine. Okay, so I hope to see you all on Sunday. Take care now.